Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another group discussion. In TAB presents group discussion, and today's topic is: should learning a foreign language be mandatory in schools? So we all know that foreign languages are very important for an individual student or children studying. Employers value people who are able to speak more than one language. Learning a language will be helpful to get good jobs when they are older. So let's hear from our students what they have to say about it. All right, guys, would like to go first? Yeah, beta. Junaid, you can just start speaking.
Good evening, everyone. I am Junaid Haq from Delhi Public School, Barashat, and I will be initiating the group discussion on the topic: should learning a foreign language be mandatory? This evening, we will be discussing on the significance of knowing, understanding, and communicating in a language that is not our own by birth. Mahatma Gandhi had once said, languages proclaim that woman is half of man, and by parity of reasoning, man is half of woman. And this corresponds to the topic of our group discussion today, which is: should learning a new language be mandatory? I am Junaid Haq, the initiator of this group discussion, and would like all of you to present your opinions on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Junaid. So, guys, do we have anybody who would like to add to him or conclude him?
Ma'am, hi.
Yes, beta, please go on.
My name is Prajato Basu. I'm from DPS Bharashas. Today, my friend Junaid Haq once said, I also believe that learning a foreign language must be mandatory, and to this, I must add that even not only to learning a foreign language helps us to get a more new vocabulary or help us in certain works, it also helps us to make our culture present to them. It also helps us to learn new positive grammatical skills. It is reported in US that 4 out of 5 jobs only clarify upon the language knowledge of that person. It is also reported that people who have a second language work better and score good marks and act in English and maths and better verbal scores in SAT.
Adding to my dear friend's Prajato's point, the learning a foreign language should be mandatory as it helps us learn about the cultures of that language more frequently and more deeply. Helps us. It helps us cope up with our activities and understand our feelings towards people.
Adding to him, I would also like to say learning foreign languages is important for it helps us in many ways. One of them is to connect. If we have to relocate or shift abroad away from our native land, life will get more difficult if we cannot communicate with the local people present there. Knowledge and communication using the native language of that land would be beneficial for both us and the local people in order to avoid misunderstanding and better living. Adding on to the previous point, it's also a good medium for advancing our careers by accessing higher education abroad and getting better job opportunities. It helps it helps to improve our vocabulary and learn new grammatical rules. Learning a new language gives us an upper hand and keeps us ahead of the crowd. Learning a new language means exploring a difficult culture and a tradition. This helps us increase our knowledge, and makes us explore about more about the world. This again helps us to avoid misunderstanding by disrespect, showing disrespect toward his or her cultural tradition. Um, we learn about new cultures, perspectives, and languages are as sundry as cultures, and learning a new language can ingraduate us new ways of visualizing the world. We might learn about the various kinds of customs and appreciation. Learning a foreign language helps us to understand their culture better and deeper. It helps us in going deep into their life long tradition. I would like to see this.
Adding to my friend Ujan's point, I completely agree with you, my friend. Second language improves our skill in math and English and also helps us in exams such as SAT and GR. Studies show that students who learn a second language perform better on tests than their monolingual peers. In the US, students who learn a second language got better test scores on in English and math and better verbal scores on SAT. It also improves the analytical skills of a person and it also increases the job opportunities worldwide. For example, 4 out of 5 jobs in US are created on the basis of second language. It is feed for your brain. People who speak more than one language are believed to have improved memory and better problem solving and reasoning skills. The main perspective is when we learn a new language and its culture, we naturally draw comparison to what is most common. It throws light on our own culture, positive and negative of it, which can bring you appreciation of your own culture or encourage you to bring the required changes. You can connect with the people of that country well and when you're speaking the local language. It also improves attention and focus. Some researchers show learning new languages improves the everyday skill of a person, like memory, flexible attitude, self control, and good focus. It also boosts confidence and protects the brain age and prevents diseases such as the Alzheimer's disease.
To this, I would also like to add some facts on language. French is the second most used foreign language. Second one, learning a different language protects our brain as we age. Third point, Mandarin Chinese is the hardest language in the world to learn. It's also the most widely spoken. Next point, next fact, Papua New Guinea has 840 languages. Last one, the most common foreign language spoken is Mandarin, German, French, English.
And I'm very fortunate to say that I'm a student of Deepest Barasa, which teaches 2 extra languages such as German and French for our growth in foreign.
Learning a foreign language also helps us understanding if we are migrating from one place to other, like my dear friend Pujan said. The child is learning a new language. If the child has already learned a new language, it will help him learning another new language while studying in that particular school.
Adding to what my friend said, I also like to add that if we learn a foreign language, then we would become more relevant and competitive in this competing world. Learning something is a new achievement itself. It helps in higher paying job because of knowing a foreign language. It helps with the chances to work in foreign countries like USA, UK, and Europe. For those who want to work in abroad, learning a foreign language is a necessity that can help them in communicating to others in a better way. Adding to my previous point, also, if we learn a foreign language, we can represent our school at an international level, which would help us to communicate with the people in that school.
Adding to what my fellow friend Prajato said, learning a second language improves our attention and concentration time span, helps the brain maintain concentrated and blocks distractions. It boosts our creativity. Once we start to learn a new language, we get familiar with the culture of that place where that particular language is spoken and our curiosity, anxiety, interest starts building up. It allows us to gain the full abroad experience. It doesn't matter of what corner of the globe we are. If we visit a place that we know the native language, we can easily communicate with the people, and the pressure, tension of traveling abroad is released from our mind. First language gets improved automatically. Learning a new language makes us more aware of the basics, fundamentals of our own language, terms such as vocabulary, grammatical skills, speaking ability, sentence composition, because it the second language things becomes daily clauses and phrases that our own language is probably mastered. We learn about new cultures, perspectives. Languages are as central as cultures, and learning a new language can inaugurate us new ways of visualizing the world. We might learn about various kinds of customs and appreciations.
Learning, learning new languages is fun and it boosts our confidence and creativity. It prevents different diseases such as Alzheimer's disease, and anyone, even a 3-year-old, can master a language.
I would like to add to what my fellow friend Adhya said that learning a foreign language not only helps in this task but helps us to go deep into their cultures and their lifelong traditions.
Learning a new language also helps us make new friends. Like if we are traveling somewhere abroad and we know that language of that place or country, it will help us new friends and new know new things.
All right, guys. Do we have anybody else who'd like to speak? All right, so let's just. I do have a question for
Yes,
you all.
ma'am. I have.
Yeah, beta,
I
please
have.
go on.
Yes, adding to what my dear friend Abhigyan Dada said, that not only learning a foreign language helps us to boost our self confidence. When we learn and study, speak another language, we make ourselves to make a milestone, which after a conclusion is suitable for our self confidence.
Thank you so much, Projato. Beta, you're so cute. All right, so I have a question for you all. So, how many languages do you guys speak? Projato?
Ma'am, four.
Wow, that's really great. What four languages, beta?
Ma'am, I can speak English, I can speak Hindi, I can speak Bengali, and I can speak French a little bit.
Wow, that's really great. All right, Junaid, beta, do you want to speak something? Please just start speaking. You don't have to raise your hand.
Yes, ma'am. Learning a new language also feeds our brain. There are many cognitive benefits of learning languages that are undeniable. People who speak more than one language have improved memory, problem solving, and critical thinking skills, enhanced concentration, ability to multitask, and better listening skills. The switch between competing tasks and monitor changes in the environment more easily than monolinguals, as well as display signs of greater flexibility and creativity. If that wasn't enough, as we age, being bilingual also helps to stave off mental aging and cognitive decline. Traveling as a speaker of the local language can revolutionize a trip abroad, while monolingual travelers are capable of visiting the same places. Travelers who know more than one language are more easily able to navigate outside the tourist bubble and to connect and interact with the place and its people in a way that is often inaccessible to those with a
मैंने उसे
language.
बोला कि
Learning a
बहुत
second
क्यूट है
language also
उसने ना अपना
opens
क्या
additional
बातें
doors
अपना
to
कैमरा बंद कर
opportunities
दिया
for studying or working abroad. In a world of more than 6,000 spoken languages, we
कितनी
sometimes
बार बोलूं
require
खाया खाने
translation,
चलना
but
है खाना
speaking
है तो
at
बकवास कर
least
बेकार की
one
बातें
additional
मत कर
language empowers us to access information that would
सुबह चार
otherwise be
मतलब मैं
off
रात भर तो
limits.
सोई
For example,
रुक जा
individuals proficient in other languages are able to navigate
मैं
the
रात भर तो
internet
सोई नहीं
as genuine global
तो
citizens,
ऐसे सुबह 4
consuming
बजे
and
कुछ
accessing
संदीप ने ना रील्स
foreign
वगैरह
media
भेजी
and
3-4
entertainment.
तो मैंने उसको इंस्टाग्राम पे मैसेज किया मैंने
To
कहा
what my dear fellow friend Junaid said,
देख ये
I
लड़का
also would
बोर हो
like
रहा
to
था
add, but
तो
in
जो भी है
today's
मैंने
world,
संदीप को मैसेज
being
किया मैंने कहा सो जा
multilingual,
जा
or for that
तो
matter,
बोला
bilingual,
कि अरे
is
मैं
no longer
अभी
is
तो
good to
खाया
have a
हूँ
skill,
अच्छा
but
ठीक है फिर हम
it is
अच्छे
a
से बात करते
necessity for
मैं
us.
तब से पिज्जा खाने
Many
का मन
graduates
करता है
and students
और
in
तू
India
बस
are increasingly
खाना वाना है
taking
नहीं गाना
classes
वगैरह
to
है नहीं
learn
बेकार
foreign
से
languages for their betterment.
Globalization is a common thing out here. People are migrating from countries to different countries to study and to access higher education and get better job opportunities abroad.
Adding to my friend Ujan's point, adding to my friend Ujan's point, being a second language or a new language when we learn, it helps us to express ourselves better. Suppose we are in Germany and we don't know German or the local language of that area, and we cannot express ourselves to taxi driver to take us to a place. It may cause a misunderstanding, and he might leave us at a different spot. Wouldn't that be a problem for us?
Adding to my John's point,
Adding to what my
in the time of globalization, focusing on more recent activities, I am focusing on COVID pandemic. During the lockdown, many people were stuck in many places which they didn't know the language of. While learning new languages in lockdown, many people now know many new languages which helps them stay and stay and live there peacefully and happily without any misunderstanding.
Adding to what my fellow friend Apityandara said, I also want that learning a new foreign language helps us to boost our creativity, which once we start to learn a new language, we get familiar with the culture of that place, where a particular language is spoken. With our curiosity, our anxiety, our interest starts building up, helps in improving analytical skills, memory function, and problem solving. It helps in brain functioning, in which in other work helps to memorize and concentrate or focus in a certain work.
First of all, thank you everyone to be patient for my late arrival. And in addition to the point, in addition to my fellow mates' point, I would like to say that learning a foreign language doesn't just help us to communicate with people in foreign countries, but also allows us to help other people. As for instance, if we stumble across someone uh, who may not speak the language spoken locally in a particular area, and but we speak that language, we can help translate for them, and it we can help translate for them, we can guide them, and it would be really helpful for them.
Ma'am, shall I begin?
yeah please go yes beta please go on
Okay, ma'am. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes into his head. If you
I'm
talk to
sorry
him,
to interrupt you beta you have switched your camera off can yeah
if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his own language, that goes to his heart. It would be the most better way you could. It has been rightly said by Nelson Mandela. He who knows no foreign language knows nothing of his own. I repeat, he who knows no foreign language knows nothing on his own. Over the past few decades of our world has become more interdependent, and new technologies have allowed us to work in close contact with people all over the world. As relationships with countries grow, so does the need to speak in a foreign language grows. We have an enhanced need for an enlightened citizenship
that is both culturally and linguistically prepared to function in today's world. There are 25 and more than that reasons to study foreign languages. Foreign languages study creates more positive attitudes and less prejudice towards people who are different. Yes, there is more discrimination, more prejudices spread in the country. That you don't know that language, I don't know that language, so I'll not talk to you also. So, foreign languages uh, can say that it creates more positive attitudes and it strengthens the bonds between two people. Studying a foreign language will improve your chances of getting a job. And studying a new culture helps you to meet new and interesting people. Dealing with other cultures enables people to gain a more profound understanding of their own culture. The study of foreign language boosts your confidence and your self belief. Graduates often cite foreign languages courses as most valuable courses in college because of the communication skills developed in the process. International travel is made easier and more pleasant through knowing a foreign language. Skills like problem solving uh, enhances one's opportunities for jobs, and a second language improves your skills and grades in maths and English. When you are learning a foreign language, it can distinguishly include your can say it can refine your grades of English. It can refine your grades when you are doing any competitive exams, and it can provide a competitive edge in career choices. One is able to communicate in the second language. That is a plus point whenever you're going to deal with any competitive exam. One participates more effectively and responsibly in a multicultural world if one knows another language. Foreign language study offers a sense of the past culturally and linguistically. You will know more about the history of the world, more about the history of your own country. And the study of a foreign tongue improves the knowledge of one's language. English vocab skills increase. The study of foreign languages teaches and encourages respect for other people. It fosters an understanding of the interrelation of language and human nature. It will completely change your traveling experience. As immigration increases, we need to prepare for changes in the world society, for changes in the American society, for changes in the Indian society. One is at distinct advantage in the global market if one is as bilingual as possible. It opens doors to wonderful opportunities like art, music, dance, fashion, cuisine, film, philosophy, science, and so on. Foreign language study is simply part of a very basic liberal education. To educate is to lead out of confinement and narrowness and darkness. I repeat, it is simply a part of a basic liberal education, a basic liberal society. To educate is to lead out of confinement and to lead out of narrowness and darkness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prachi. So, guys, who'd like to go next? Projato, beta, would you like to speak something?
No, mom.
Okay. Do we have anybody else who'd like to add to Prachi?
Ma'am, adding on to her points, yeah, think the points and all the information she stated is all correct and is important. Learning a foreign language is important for us in many ways, as she said, exploring, getting information, learning new things, go deeper into search and feel the cultures, explore the cultures, go deep into the cultures of the other other cultures. We can explore a lot about the world and the history, and that can make our future as well as our present work well.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
what and
Ma'am, shall I add something?
Yeah, please. Sayali, beta, would you like to speak something?
Ma'am, I would just like to say that I totally agree with everything Prachi just said. Yes, it definitely lets us know the culture better. It lets us bond with the people better, and it also allows us to avoid many misunderstandings, as even though we may have advanced translators these days, they can make mistakes sometimes. So knowing the language, knowing the language of the people in the foreign countries will ensure that the communication was not misunderstood or misinterpreted.
Thank you so much,
Ma'am,
Beta.
I would like to add.
Yeah, please
Uh,
go on, Beta.
Adding to what my dear fellow friend said, I also like to add that learning a foreign language helps us to draw comparison to what is most common. It throws light on our own culture, positive or negative to it, which can bring us appreciation of our culture and encourage us to bring the required change. It makes us more inclusive, tolerant, and allows us to have a broader perspective and embrace others' lifestyle and cultures and traditions.
yeah, ma'am. Yeah. Adding to Saheli, I would like she said that we are having advanced translators nowadays, but they may not be working at times when we need it, like panic situations or emergency situations. For example, we are in abroad where we do not know the native language of that place. If we have to communicate with the local people on if anyone has some health issues when he or she needs to be hospitalized, we can communicate with the local people and know about the hospitals and other health centers present nearby. Otherwise, something else can happen. Yeah, that can cause damage.
Ma'am, may I add?
Yeah, yeah, Beta, please go on.
Okay, ma'am. It has been well said by the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. Language is
किस दिन
not a
फोन से
genetic
बताया
gift.
था ना
It is a
तेरी
social gift.
जॉब वगैरह
It
का
is learning a new
उसके
language
नेक्स्ट दिन
is
मुझे
becoming a
बताया
member
कि
of the
तेरी
club,
जॉब लग गई
a club
फिर
of the
मैंने कहा
citizen of
फाइनली
India,
दिन लग
the
रहा है
community of the speakers of that language. Language is to the mind more than light to the
जिस
eye.
दिन तूने
The
बताया था
study of foreign languages enhances listening skills and memory, increases the analytical abilities, and builds aptitude in problem solving and working with abstract concepts. It has been shown to enhance the study of other subjects. Everyone can agree with the following points. The knowledge of foreign languages can help find a better paid job and gives an opportunity to work abroad or in an international corporation. Everyone, knowing the language of a country, feels more comfortable abroad, can travel with pleasure, and contact and communicate with other people freely. There are topmost reasons to learn a new language. It can connect you. One of the most rewarding aspects of human experience is our ability to connect with others. It can advance your career. It can feed your brain. It can deepen your connection to other cultures. You can see the world, not visually, but also mentally. You can go to the source, you can become a polyglot, and it can boost your confidence in the most best way it can. When you were preparing to go to a high school, your counselor probably mentioned taking a world class language in high school is a good way to earn an elective credit. I know, mine did. While learning a second language may seem like a hassle, it is incredibly beneficial to all the students, no matter what age. Learning another language can be especially helpful to build communication skills. Lots of professional careers like business and sales managers involve speaking to people not only from any other country, but to people around the world, making an effort to learn another language so you can speak to others will truly benefit you in the long run. In conclusion, learning a second language should be required. A second language can help anyone broaden their horizons, widen their communication skills, and help admit them into new schools or earn scholarships. At least 2 years of a language will benefit anyone more than none at all. I would like to end with a quotation. Language is the roadmap of a culture. It tells you where its people come from and where they are going. I repeat, language is the roadmap of a culture. It tells you where its people come from and where they are growing. Thank you so much.
I would like to add what she said that learning a foreign language helps in using cognitive muscles to navigate multiple languages that can make us adept at juggling tasks in other ways. It helps us to feel the communication gap between us and international speakers.
Adding to what my fellow friend Prajato said, why is it important to learn more than one language? We live in a multicultural world where connections are now more important than ever. The world is becoming increasingly globalized, and knowing a second language can always give us a fair advantage. There are tangible benefits to be bilingual. It can help you in your career. It can improve our memory and brain functions. It can increase our understanding of the languages we already speak. A second language can drastically change our career. Living in an interconnected world means that more and more jobs and facilities are advertising positions where knowing more than one language is essential. As more companies trade internationally and create relationships with other countries, employees are often asked to travel for work, enhance these relationships, or be located abroad. Besides having more chances of landing a good job or advancing in our career, learning a second language can also give us an insight into other cultures. We will be always prepared and confident to travel the world and explore other people's ways of living. Lack of integration is a real problem for most countries. More often than not, this is due to the language barrier. People outside of their home countries end up being isolated, hanging out only with people from similar communities where their language is spoken. Learning a second language opens up the opportunity for being a part of a community with a different culture and learning more about the world around us. Bilingual can also help us master our own language. For example, learning a new language with similar roots can help us learn other languages as well. So, what are we waiting for? We should take and learn new languages immediately. I would like to end my discussion with a quote such as to learn a language is to have one or more window from which we can look at the world. I repeat, to learn a language is to have one or more window from which we can look at the world.
Adding to what my fellow friend Junaid said, I want to add that learning a foreign language helps us adapting the ability to understand others' spoken messages, sustain and conclude conversations. It also helps us in to understand others' personal feelings.
Ma'am, shall I add?
Yes, beta, please go on.
Okay, ma'am. It has been well said by Jhansi ki Rani, the Rani Lakshmi Bai. English is an art. English cannot be our mother tongue. It's just word with no culture, and words with no culture have no meaning. Our mother tongue is only one because mother is only one. The advantages of learning foreign languages are mushrooming as the world becomes increasingly globalized, and bilingualism is now perhaps the most useful real skill to ever exist, rather than just be a nifty party trick. If you're thinking about making the effort to learn a foreign language, rather than expecting the world to accommodate your monolingualism, you are a rare breed indeed. blossoming into an impressive polyglot you aspire to be is 100% feasible with the right approach and mindset. Foreign language study is all about learning how to truly communicate and connect with others, an incredibly important life skill that can only be cultivated by interacting with people. When you master a foreign language, you can exercise your new superhuman power of being able to understand what someone is saying, recall the proper vocab and grammar, put that vocab and grammar into the proper context, and reply back on the spot and in a timely manner. You have connected, and that is what it's all about. You have got a new superhuman power, a new supernatural power. Going to make friends if you don't know how to talk in Spanish? How are you going to make friends if you go in England? How are you going to make friends if you are going in Spain? So why is it important to learn a foreign language? Basically, the advantages of learning a foreign language have the ability to set up for success in nearly every aspect of your life. Check out these 7 reasons to study a foreign language. The first one, with its warm and voluptuous sounds. Hearing someone speaking in a foreign language is like the sound of gold coming to embrace you. Speaking a language is incredibly good and it can make you more attractive, interesting, and give you an air of intelligence. Second one, travel becomes cheaper and easier when you learn a foreign language. It's 10 p.m. You just got off a 14-hour flight and all you want to do is to fall face first into your pillow. If you're solely armed with a smattering of navigational terms in the local language, finding your place to crash could turn into a painfully slow process. With the right lingo, you are limited to expensive or slower options. So, you save yourself some time, money, and grief when you learn a foreign language. Oh, and the food. When you learn a foreign language, you don't need the Anthony Borden to find the best local grub. You can ask yourself all around. This valuable intel will usually lead you to fast, tastier, and cheaper fare than any tourism board or guidebook ever could. Third one can be learning a foreign language opens up a wonderful door of job opportunities. And in an increasingly competitive job market, why not give yourself every possible edge? But it's not just padding your resume. With globalization in full swing, there's a good chance you'll be working with people whose first language is not English. Maybe it is a development team in India, or a manufacturing plant in China, or an alternative energy supplier in Germany. Being able to communicate in other languages makes you much more valuable to an employer, and having that competitive edge on your resume is without a doubt an eye catcher. Fourth one, foreign language study grows your brain. Students have demonstrated the cognitive benefits of learning another language. No matter how old you are, the ability to quickly switch between tasks is especially important in today's busy multitasking world. Fifth one, you can form meaningful friendships. And when you're studying in a foreign language, meeting new and interesting people is just as easy as possible. It can help you to develop lifelong friendships that are certainly objectives while worth aspiring for. Next one, studying can help you to be more open minded. And basically, it can help you to adopt the liberal education. Next one, that it can help you to better understand your own language and culture. Learning a foreign language can actually pull a sort of reverse psychology on you and provide you with a better understanding of your own native tongue and culture. This is one of the most unexpected advantages of learning a foreign language. You will become much more conscious of not only cultural customs, but of the grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation patterns of your first language. This likely explains the improvements in listening, reading, and writing skills that foreign language imparts to former monolinguals. At last, I would like to end with a quotation. With languages, you can move from one social situation to another. With languages, you are at home anywhere. I do repeat, with languages, you move from one social situation to another. With languages, you are at home anywhere. Thank you.
I would like to add to what my previous speaker said. I would like to end my group discussion with a famous quote quoted by Federico Fellini, A different language is a different vision of life. I repeat, a different language is a different vision of life. Thank you.
Exactly, Projatu. A different language is a different vision of life. A wise person once said. It helps us to connect with other people. It helps us to express ourselves better. Of course, when you have to grow, you go to foreign countries, and you have to talk in their languages to express yourself better, to help yourself. And language is a skill itself. Knowing a language is a skill which rises your limits up to the sky. And it helps in growing businesses and in your education. In your education, if you know just one or two languages, it won't help you because you have to learn more languages. It helps in growing business and it makes you more social. When you know a lot of languages, you can connect with a lot of people. You can express yourself better. It makes you social. And in this growing world, you have to be social to grow yourself. Thank you. I would like to add one more point. I'm sorry. In schools, in most schools, we learn a second and at times third language, which is mostly an Indian language. We write exams on it, which are evaluated. This can be easily replaced with a foreign language. In this way, learning a foreign language can be well integrated into a school curriculum, which will form a base for us to learn a foreign language, become more social, and in growing in the world.
I would like to ask a question to everybody. Learning a foreign language offers an insight into how people from other cultures think and see the world. The teaching of a foreign language should be compulsory at all the primary schools. To what extent do you agree and disagree with this view?
Can you
Yes,
pardon, please? Can you pardon?
Ma'am, shall I go on?
Yeah. Yeah, beta, please go on.
Yes, I absolutely do agree that learning a foreign language should be mandatory in primary schools. As in our school, I would like to point out the fact that in our school, Delhi Public School, Barashat, our school does provide us the learning of foreign languages like French and German, which would help us in our higher educations, as Germany has very good universities there, and if somebody chooses to proceed their education in Germany, and we can you can totally it would totally help you, as learning knowing German would totally help you in your furthest education. So I would like to point out the fact that our school provides that.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Prati. Foreign language in primary school should be mandatory, as by learning a foreign language in primary school, if we want to continue that language in the future, first, it will give an advantage to most of the students learning language and studying on it. And will help us speak that language even in a young age.
Thank you so much, guys. Do we have anybody else who hasn't spoken a while and would like to add? Yeah.
Yeah, I would also like to answer the question. Asked. We yeah, foreign language should be made learned in the primary schools, as my dear friend Avigyan said. Learning a language from a small age gives us an upper hand when we grow up and would like to continue with the language further. As we come to know something from beforehand before going to an advanced level.
Ma'am, I want to add something.
Yes, Prachi, please go on.
Yeah. Developing linguistic skills provide a better understanding of various cultures around the world. But I disagree with the belief, and my views on it will be elaborated in the few paragraphs which I'm going to speak. There is a vast majority of languages spoken around in the world. And it is good that undoubtedly learning different languages improves skills in a children at a very young age. Also, they can help them in the future to migrate from one country to another. However, there are a few shortcomings that cannot be ruled out completely. Consequently, a child can learn only one or two lingos, which may or may not be useful for them. And it would be very exhausting for the teachers to teach them uh, the selected languages that the students want to know. For example, if I want to learn Spanish and you want to learn French, so the thing would be exhausting for the teacher to teach. So I think that these learning skills should be developed at a later stage of life rather than at a very young age.
Research says that learning that when you learn a language under the age of 7 to 8, you can speak that language very fluently with great grammar, and when you start growing, when you're above the age of 7 and 8, your ability to master the language starts to decline. Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree to the point Adya said. We our brain stays fresh for the time we are young, as she said, below the age of 7 to 10. Uh, our brain stays fresh, and our memory skills, our learning skills, critical thinking stays a lot better than when we grow up. So catching up and learning different languages at that time is easier than learning it later.
For instance, one of my friends had studied German and French in her school. However, she had to migrate to China and learn Chinese for further studies. So, wouldn't it be a pressure or burden on her that she has to learn more than two languages? She wanted to
Hello.
learn German and French, and she has learned that. But later on, to
Hello.
complete her studies, she had to learn Chinese.
I would like to say something. Learning a foreign language helps in using cognitive muscles to navigate multiple languages that can make you more adept at juggling tasks in other ways. You become more relevant and competitive in a competing world. As stated, the world is now a global village. It's only those that are best competitive wins in the endeavor. Being bilingual is no longer a good to have skill, but a necessity. Many graduates and students in India increasingly take up classes in foreign languages. They have come to understand that those who are not qualified in one or more foreign tongues will be left behind in a competitive job market. Learning something new is an achievement in itself. Learning language learning boosts your self-confidence. When you learn to study and speak
Hello.
another language,
हाँ
you have set yourself to make a
नहीं
milestone,
ऑफिस
which, after the
हाँ
conclusion,
हाँ
is suitable for your confidence. That is because you can stand before people and
हाँ
start communicating with other people. Thank
अच्छे
you.
से शाम में करूँ मैं लाइव हूँ अभी
I would like to
जैसे मुझसे
add,
मिलूंगी तो रात
and
में ही
I
कर
would
या रात को मैं
believe
करूँ
what
ठीक है
my previous speaker said, that I
उसी से
also
मिलूंगी
believe
आज
that learning a new language
हाँ
is mandatory because as we go old,
ओके बाय बाय
our memory and our thinking and our critical thinking skills decreases.
सरप्राइज ही
So
देंगे
if we can adopt a new language
सरप्राइज ही
in a
देंगे
very young age, then it would be not a very much difficulty to adopt another new
मेरे
language
पास है
in
ना
our
चल
further age.
बूम
All
बूम
in
वाला
all,
नहीं बट हाँ
knowledge of
इतने
an
में कि
international
सरप्राइज दे
tongue
दे
gives an idea of the people of different cultures and provides insight into knowing the nonsense of the world. But making
हाँ
it
वही ना
compulsory
बजट
for
में
young
हाँ
children at the school level is inappropriate. And they should be allowed to
हम्म
choose any language of their interest without any restriction. It should not be restricted at a school that the school is just open for the children who want to
हाँ
learn
ठीक है
French, or the
जगह
school
बता
is just open
साइड
for the
कर
children who want to learn Spanish. There should be
ओके बाय
an interest to choose any language without any restriction. One language sets you in a corridor for life, but two languages open every door along the way. Well said by Frank Smith. I do repeat, one language sets you in a corridor for life, but two languages open every door along the way. Thank you.
Like Prachi said, that my students, every language we available. Every language available. It shouldn't be as we are give if we give every student two or three chances to select, and we give only 3 to 4 languages, it might help as there are not many languages terribly spoken. Not no offense to the language which are not spoken very much, but the languages which are spoken massively all around the world can, can be used as if in the future they get migrated to another place or it might help them as they already know that language.
For most of the times, we are only taught English at schools. We are not paid attention at different languages to choose our own interests. So this should be completely got off. We should get an opportunity to learn each and every language we want to. Yeah, English is the second most language which is spoken in the world after Mandarin. But one who wants to go China for further education, one who wants to go Germany, what would be English of their head? They have to speak in the tongue of that international state. So they have to learn the language of that particular state. So every school must open doors of opportunities for every student who want to pursue a different language. Language is entry key, which opens gates of another world, cultures, and different societies in all over the world. As English is defined as universal language, which is used at majority places of the world, so it can be very, very essential for an individual to learn that English to open new opportunities in terms of everything. But they should also be conversely learning different languages if they want to. Because two languages, more than two languages, open every door in the corridor you come along the way. Thank you.
Uh, like
Uh,
I, like Prachi said, if the person wants to learn Mandarin and English is the first most language around them, if we give to a student, this would be mean a lot of pressure to that student. What we can do is, as the student grows up and has more maturity, we can let that person, that student, select what language he wants. First, he will have to choose it because it is a universal language. But in the future, if he wants to learn any other language, he can learn.
Thank you so much, guys. Do we have anybody who'd like to add to her or him?
yes,
Because
ma'am,
we are running out
absolutely.
of time. Yeah, beta, please do make it really quick.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I understand what Prachi
See,
wants to say, and I respect that. And yes, I do believe that forcing children to learn new languages from a young age can be pressurizing. And I personally believe that students should be given the option to learn a certain language from higher classes onwards. And as she said, your friend had to learn French and German. Your friend learned French and German, but she had to go to China. And on the one hand, it is unfortunate, but on the other hand, it doesn't mean that she would never use the languages French and German. Uh, as in If in the future she decides to visit German or visit France, she could it could totally come in handy.
two uses, which are my personal favorite, which students really need a lot, is that learning a new language improves your memory. The more you use your brain to learn new skills, the more your brain functions work. Learning a new language pushes your brain to get familiar with new grammar and vocabulary rules. It allows you to train your memory to remember new words, make connections between them, and use them in contextual situations. The second one is it enhances your ability to multitask. Time management and multitasking are two skills that will always help you. Multilingual people have the ability to switch between languages. Their ability to think in different languages and be able to communicate in more than one language helps with multitasking. Thank you.
Ma'am, I would like to add something.
Yes, beta, please go on.
I would like to add that my previous speaker said that, yeah, forcing one to accept one language to learn is really unfair, as stated by Ludwig Wittgenstein. The limit of my language means the limit of my world. I repeat, the limit of my language means the limit of my world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Do we have anybody else who'd like to, quickly add him? Yeah, please, Adya.
A point I have. There's one more thing that students really need a lot in today's world is that you have to improve your progress in academic areas. Fully immersing yourself in a language learning environment means not only learning the basics of that language, it means learning how to communicate in another language with your peers or participating extracurricular activities in that specific language, which helps you to express yourself better and get better and coop up and extracurricular activities.
Thank you so much, Adya. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope everybody is done. Do we have anybody else who'd like to, speak something? All right. Thank you, guys. It was really a wonderful group discussion with you all. I hope you guys too did enjoyed it.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
for all the viewers, do not forget to vote for your favorite participant. You just have to, write down their name in the live chat. That's how you vote for them. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Take
ma'am.
care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.